Ever been interested in buying BYD, Porsche, Volkswagen, or Tencent stock, but not sure how to trade over the counter? Here is how you can do it from pretty much anywhere in the world. And also, you can, in fact, buy Bitcoin this way as well without having to actually own the Bitcoin. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Electric Viking. My name is Sam Evans. I'm coming to you here from Melbourne, Australia. Big welcome to all the new subscribers to the channel. Welcome back to everyone else. Great to have you here in 2022. So, if you're wondering how you can trade in these stocks, well, first, I'm making a video. It will be up on the channel shortly on how you can trade Bitcoin without buying the Bitcoin. Buying Bitcoin is a bit of a hassle. Storing it's a hassle. People often forget their account details and they actually lose the Bitcoin. While there is a way that you can avoid all that hassle and simply own a stock which gives you the right to owning a certain percentage of Bitcoin. I'll put a link in the description below to that video. Now, if you're interested in buying Porsche, Volkswagen, Tencent, or BYD stock, I know a lot of you are interested in BYD stock. You've sent me a lot of emails and messages on how to do that, especially from countries such as the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. And even if you're outside of those countries, this is a way you can do it. So, first thing you need to do, jump on Stake, stake.com.au. Now, if you're outside Australia, New Zealand, or the UK, just install a VPN on your computer and put on there that you're in Australia or the UK or New Zealand. Pretty easy to do. It's that'll only take you 10 minutes if you just Google it. You can use any VPN. I use NordVPN personally, but that's one way you can do it. Now, obviously, you don't have to use Stake to trade if you're in the US or in Europe to buy over-the-counter shares. There's other platforms to do it on. But remember, Stake does have free trading. You get 10 free trades per month. You don't have to actually pay a brokerage fee per trade. So over-the-counter stocks can be quite expensive for brokerage fees, but this is one way to avoid paying any brokerage fees. So that's a good solution. Now, if you don't have a Stake account yet, make sure you use my promotion code. There's a code in the description below that you can enter when you create your Stake account, and that will give you a free stock. If you don't enter that code, you won't get a free stock. I get a free stock out of that as well, but it's better that you and I both get a stock out of it than no one gets a stock out of it. So make sure you use that code when you sign up. Now, the ticker for BYD, what is it? Well, it's BYDDY. There is another ticker, but ignore that one. That's not on here. It doesn't matter. It makes no difference. BYDDY is the ticker for BYD. Now, if you're wondering who BYD are, well, they are one of the largest battery companies in the world, one of the largest electric car companies in the world, one of the largest phone manufacturers in the world, and they make semiconductor chips for cars and other things as well. Now, at the start of the year, BYD's stock price was sitting at around about $70 US. It's still at around about that price. So right now, I think is a really good time to buy, considering the fact that they have increased their electric car sales this year over the last 12 months and their battery development. They've built 6 new battery factories by an astronomical number versus the year before. Want to know the number? Well, check out some of the videos I've made this year. You need to do some more research first before you buy the stock, of course. If you haven't already been watching this channel, you definitely need to research the company before you take my word for it. That'd be stupid. So check out all the videos I've made about BYD, and then you can learn about what the company actually does. They're a direct competitor to Tesla, and they're planning on this year selling their electric cars, not just in China. They've actually started selling their electric cars in Australia, Brazil, a number of countries all over the world, and they're planning on selling them specifically in Europe and Australia first, and then going to other countries next. Now, their price to earnings ratio is about 190, but remember that's a trailing number. That will be significantly different by the time they report their earnings within the next month for the previous quarter. I suspect that price to earnings ratio will probably drop to about 150. Sounds high, doesn't it? But it is a massive growth company. And if you compare it to someone like Tesla, their PE is about 280, but that's a trailing number as well. That'll probably drop to about 200 after the Tesla's earnings are released. So remember, with these high growth stocks, yes, the price to earnings looks ridiculous, but the reason for that is they have so much potential over the coming decade to disrupt the auto industry. Massive potential. Now, when you compare the company to Tesla though, the stock has far less big sponsorship. So that's one reason it doesn't have potentially as much upside on its price as Tesla. Though Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway has been a notable investor in the company for many years. Now, ARK Invest also own a stake of BYD. You can actually buy some of ARK Invest's exchange traded funds and get access to BYD that way as well. Now, one issue is that BYD stock is listed in Hong Kong and it trades over the counter in the US. Why do they trade over the counter? I'll tell you that in just a minute. Now, this also means BYDDF stock shows a lot of mini gaps, with most of the share price action reflecting Hong Kong trading. Now, investors.com says that the lack of a US listing may turn out to be a positive, with Beijing and Washington both making moves that could spur Chinese stocks off US exchanges. Now, I don't think that's likely, but anyway, those include XPeng stock, NIO, and Li Auto, which were sold off hard in early December, along with other US listed Chinese firms on delisting fears. Now, if you're interested in NIO, Li Auto, or XPeng, rule out Li Auto. That's a stupid idea. They don't even make electric cars, they just make plug-in hybrids. NIO and XPeng, yes, definitely worth considering investing in. And in terms of the fears of being delisted, it's nonsensical. It's just a media beat up. The media love things that bleed. They'll just exaggerate any story to you. They're not going to be delisted. It's not going to happen. So forget about that issue. Anyway, back to BYD. Now, BYD already sells many EVs at or below $25,000 US. How do they do that? Well, vertical integration. They make the batteries, they make the cars, they make pretty much everything that goes into the car themselves. It's all manufactured in China. Costs are very, very low, especially since they use lithium iron phosphate batteries, which cost a lot less than most batteries used in most electric cars. In addition to that, I mean, their cars have a 500,000 kilometer warranty on the battery because the batteries will last so long. Now, if Tesla moves down market with cheaper EVs, which I believe it will face a vast array of competing models, many from BYD. Now, in the coming years, BYD has many big markets to expand into, though it's unclear when or if it will tackle the US market, though I believe it will. I'll put a link in the description below to the video I made about BYD listing jobs in the US for people to sell cars. Now, BYD is delivering far more electric vehicles than its rivals such as NIO and XPeng. Plus, it makes its own batteries. It has some pretty big advantages versus those rivals. So what exactly are over-the-counter stocks? Well, packed with multi-billion-dollar global companies like Adidas and Nintendo, over-the-counter stocks bypass the major US exchanges. Now, if you are planning on creating a stake account, there is over 100 different stocks that you can buy over the counter using stake. Now, there's two major questions surrounding over the counter stocks that I need to talk about. The obvious question, without an exchange, how do these shares actually change hands? Such shares are traded through broker-dealer networks. Using an electronic network, scores of broker-dealers are posting stocks on offer. Trades are executed directly between the buyer and the seller without the need for a third-party exchange to settle those transactions. A company called the OTC Group runs these networks. 3 marketplaces exist. Each over-the-counter stock belongs to one of the following categories. Best market, OTCQX. The most stringent report requirements. Such companies are generally billion-dollar foreign companies that may have plans to eventually list on the US markets. The majority of over-the-counter stock fall into the OTCQX category on stake, despite the fact that only 4% of over-the-counter stocks are in that tier. Now, stocks under US $5 in price are also eligible for OTCQX trading. Now, the second category is venture market stocks. They're called OTCQB. The middle tier, these companies tend to be early stage or developing companies. Now, the third tier is pink sheets. Such companies have no US reporting requirements and don't have to report to the SEC, while pink sheets may have a bad image. Big names such as Nintendo fit into this category. While the US regulators may not monitor such stocks, foreign regulators may. Stake only offers access to the highest quality pink sheet stock. So using the platform, it does appear to be safe. I use it personally, and I've just bought some stocks over the counter using Stake. Now, why trade over the counter? It's a good question. Why would a company choose to go over the counter rather than list on an exchange? I mean, obviously, on an exchange, you're going to have more liquidity, more investors there to buy the stock more easily, potentially leading to a higher stock price. Well, the key reason is that listing on an exchange is difficult and expensive. Now, for smaller companies, the millions of dollars needed to both list and comply with yearly SEC and FINRA audits prices them out of major exchanges. And some companies just choose not to list on them because they don't want to pay the fees and go through the hassle of having to do all this. Now, for bigger companies, like many of the over-the-counter stocks you can buy on Stake, they are generally foreign ADRs. These companies are already listed on a local market, and an over-the-counter listing provides an easier option for foreign investors to access the stock. In the case of, say, the Grayscale Crypto Fund, ETFs, the SEC is yet to approve an ETF with crypto as the underlying asset. So the only way you can buy it is over the counter. Now, such instruments make use of over-the-counter markets to avoid the SEC's stringent and, well, probably over-the-top regulatory conditions. Now, there's a few things here to consider. It's important to recognize that over-the-counter stocks tend to have lower liquidity. Entering and exiting positions can be more difficult if traders are looking to execute at specific prices, or if you want to dump a whole lot of stock all at once, that could be challenging. Now, lower liquidity is also associated with increased volatility. Now, when you place your trade, you need to pay careful attention to ensure that you actually execute at your desired price, as you can't just buy at market price. You have to actually list a price that you're willing to pay. In addition, while the stocks available on Stake are high quality over-the-counter stocks, BYD EV being one of those, generally such stocks are subject to less regulation than their exchange-listed counterparts. Naturally, this does lead to more risk. Now, if you want to trade on Stake in January using over-the-counter stocks, you will need to pay US $9 per month to get Stake Black. But if you wait until February, you won't have to pay anything at all. In February, it's free to trade over-the-counter stocks on Stake. Now, how many trades do you get free per month? You get 10 trades free on over-the-counter stocks per month. I can't imagine you'd be wanting to trade more than 10 times per month. If you are, you're a day trader, you're a gambler, and that's just stupid. So don't even bother. Just do something else. Go to the casino and waste your money that way. Anyway, this is a really good way that you can trade without paying a lot of money. Frankly, in Australia and New Zealand, there's no other option right now. So this gives you the option if you want to trade BYD EV or BYD, Volkswagen, Porsche, Tencent, Nintendo, and many other companies are listed on here. Obviously, you can also buy Grayscale Bitcoin, then that's a way for you to actually own Bitcoin without buying the stock as well. So if you've got any questions, make sure you jump on our Patreon account, support the channel, and then you can fire away with as many questions as you want, and I'll do my best to help you with whatever you have to. And I'll do my best to help you with whatever it is you're unsure about. Now, if you're wondering about me, what stocks do I own? Well, I have a small amount of BYD. I haven't been able to actually trade BYD this easily before, but now that I can, I'll be buying more BYD stock. I have a fair bit of Tesla in my portfolio. I also own XPeng, small amount of NIO, a new electric car company which sells electric mobility scooters and other things called NIU, and I have a few others. And obviously, if you do support the channel on Patreon, you'll get access to all the details of my trading. And if I make any new trades, I'll let you know. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll look forward to seeing you again on the next one. Bye-bye.